Today, we're diving into something that's become a silent epidemic, a kind of exhaustion that so many people are feeling but can't quite put their finger on.
It all starts with this question, right? A question so many of us have typed into a search bar late at night. Why am I always so tired? And it's easy to feel like it's some kind of personal failing, something we just need to push through.
But here's the thing. What if it's not a personal failure at all? The data is crystal clear. Just this past year, that exact search query skyrocketed, hitting an all-time high, especially for women between 28 and 55. So no, it is absolutely not just you. This is a huge collective thing. And there's actually a name for this, the exhaustion gap. And it's not about a lack of willpower. It's about a deep structural mismatch between the way a woman's body actually works and the generic one-size-fits-all tech we've all been using to track our health.
Okay, so let's start digging into the clues behind this exhaustion gap. First up is something we're calling the social jet lag cycle. On one hand, you have the advice we hear all the time. Be consistent. Wake up at the same time every day. But on the other hand, you have the hidden reality for so many women. Our bodies run on a cyclical clock, not a linear one. Our need for sleep can change, sometimes dramatically throughout the month.
And get this, a whopping 82% of women keep the exact same alarm settings during their luteal phase. Now, that's the week or so before your period when your body's progesterone is rising, telling you, screaming at you really, that it needs more rest. We're literally fighting our own biology without even knowing it.
And this forced consistency has a real cost. It builds up a sleep debt of about 2.5 hours every single month. And that debt isn't just about feeling sleepy. The data shows it directly correlates with a 40% spike in reported anxiety.
All right, let's move on to our second clue. This one is all about the kind of stress that our trackers just can't see, the invisible second shift. So your fitness tracker sees you sitting on the couch in the evening and it logs it as rest. Great. But what your body is actually feeling is something researchers call high cognitive load. That's the mental gymnastics of planning meals, organizing schedules, worrying about the kids. It's work. It's draining, even if you haven't moved a muscle. And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. This shows a typical evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Look at the movement bar. It's practically zero. But now look at the stress bar, which is based on heart rate variability. It's through the roof. Your body isn't resting. It's on high alert. And that is the key. Your tracker calls this rest. And then you wonder why you got 8 hours in bed but still wake up feeling completely wiped out. It's because you never truly recovered from the mental load of the night before. This brings us to our third clue, which is all about how our best intentions can actually work against us. Let's talk about the linear fitness trap. We're bombarded with this message, right? Close your rings, hit your goals every day. It's this linear, gamified approach to fitness. But the hidden reality is that for a body that runs on a cycle, doing the wrong kind of workout at the wrong time of the month doesn't build you up. It can lead to total hormonal burnout. I mean, this data is such a perfect aha moment. When women did a high-intensity workout during their menstrual phase, their recovery scores actually dropped by 15% the next day. They went backward. But when they did yoga during that same phase, their recovery scores improved by 10%. So the conclusion here is pretty wild. That very goal our technology pushes us towards, this relentless daily grind, can be the very thing that's making us feel so exhausted. It's actively working against our health. Okay, finally, let's look at two pieces of the puzzle that are so deeply connected and so often misunderstood: perimenopause and our own emotional loops. You know, a massive blind spot in women's health is just how early perimenopause can begin. It can start years before a doctor ever diagnoses it, leaving so many women just feeling off. But the data tells a hidden story. We're seeing the biometric signature of perimenopause in 35% of women between the ages of 35 and 40. And it's not some big mystery. The signature is clear. It's a combination of nighttime heat spikes, hot flashes, along with a higher resting heart rate. Seeing this in your data early on can be so empowering, helping you get support way before things get really tough. And this might be the most profound connection of all. The data clearly shows that when users log subjective feelings like resentment or overwhelm, their objective, measurable sleep efficiency drops by an average of 14% that very same night.
And this leads to a huge insight. Our emotional state is not separate from our physical state. Managing our emotions isn't just a mental health thing, it's a metabolic recovery issue. It is fundamental to how our body rests and repairs itself.
So we've looked at all the clues. The sleep debt, the hidden stress, the fitness burnout, they all point back to that same mismatch. So the solution isn't to just try harder, it's to think differently. It requires a whole new approach.
Think of it like this. The old way, linear tracking, it just measures your health. It gives you a bunch of data points. But the new way, cyclical intelligence, does something so much more powerful. It validates your experience. It helps you understand why you feel the way you do.
Let me break that down. A linear tracker tells you what happened. You slept poorly. Okay, thanks. That can just make you feel more frustrated. But cyclical intelligence explains why it happened. You slept poorly because your body's need for more rest in your luteal phase collided with a day of super high cognitive load. Suddenly it all makes sense. You have context. You have control.
And that really brings us to the final, most important question. For anyone who has ever felt exhausted and frustrated and blamed themselves for not being disciplined enough, what if your body isn't the problem? What if your body isn't failing at all, but your technology is?